Reefers, what is up? We're gonna watch a movie. We're gonna watch a sports movie, Major League. It's a movie I used to watch when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, it was damn near 20 years old, so let's see if it holds up. It's a movie from 1987. Side note, this movie is about the Cleveland baseball team, so before they were the Guardians, they were the Indians, and it definitely mentions the Indians a lot, and it's also got that dumb, toothy grin Native American cartoon fellow, so it's already not looking great like it's gonna hold up well, but let's get into it. I used to like it when I was a kid, so let's see if I still like it. Movie starts out with some shots of Cleveland, and the weather's looking very late February, Ohio type of weather too. So like spring training's about to start, you know, wink, wink, movie starting.
Spring training starts on the 1st.
And we got Randy Newman in the background, and I don't know what it is about Randy Newman and his music, or what his style you would call, but it just fits Cleveland very well. I don't know, but it just does.
Cleveland, city of light, city of magic.
So skipping the intro, all you need to know is that the Cleveland baseball team has not played well, and it's been like 30 years since they last won a pennant. So let's get on with the movie. So we're then introduced to the antagonist of the movie, and she's the widow of the recently deceased Indians owner, and she has like full control. Like she was like handed down full control of the team, because she goes into what I thought was like a board meeting, bunch of people sitting around a table, and she basically says, hey, yeah, so we're gonna suck. I don't want to make any money. I don't want the fans to come to any games, because there's a loophole in a contract that I have with the city that says if audience goes below a certain percentage, I can move the team. And she wants to move the team to Miami, but for only like superficial reasons, like so that she can have a nice condo, I guess. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, lady, just sell the team. I mean, I know it's 1987, but baseball teams sell for millions of dollars, I would assume back then. I know it's Cleveland, but I mean, hell, I would own a sports franchise in Cleveland. So it just doesn't make sense to me why she's so gung-ho on, oh, well, the team's got to suck. But I mean, I guess it gives us a story, and it, you know, there's got to be some kind of like conflict, you know, that needs to be resolved. So, I mean, I get that. Anyways, she's bad, and she just wants to put together a bunch of guys that are just no names or past their prime and not great.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Our main cast. And I should mention this cast is star-studded with the likes of Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, Wesley Snipe, the dad from Psych.
Acting is not a real job.
All stars. And one by one, they show up to spring training, each one more unique than the next. And as we find out later, each one comes with their faults, as well as their strengths, but more of an emphasis on their faults. Like the father from Psych, his character's name's Roger Dorn. Roger is a bit of an asshole. He's like this old veteran who just cares about money, and he basically picks a fight with everyone. Then before training camp even starts, we find out that Wesley Snipes' character wasn't actually invited to spring training, so you would just assume they'd probably go up to him and ask him to leave. No, these motherfuckers come out in the most juvenile way possible. They lift up him while he's sleeping on the top bunk, and then they just drop him off in the parking lot. Not like dropped him off like I guess they got tired and were just like, the parking lot's fine.
Shit! I've been cut already?
Wesley Snipes wakes up, sees that they're running side-by-side sprints, and he goes and proceeds to smoke two jabronis who got a head start on him. And, well, you know, that was good enough to, you know, get that invite to spring training. I don't know how speed is the only thing that gets you invited into spring training, but I guess it's the 80s. I just don't see that flying back in the 80s, but I don't know. It's a movie. Anyways, Wesley Snipes is cool. He stays, basically. So as the first day of spring training goes on, we see all those faults that I mentioned earlier. And then we get treated to one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie where Roger Dorn comes up to the manager, his name is Lee, and shows him his contract that says that he doesn't have to do any exercises that he deems as unnecessary. He has this real smug look on his face like, look at that, look what I just did.
You like that? You like that?
And then Lee pulls out his pud and just pisses on the contract, which is a beautiful, beautiful moment. I mean, it means nothing. The contract's still binding. You know, I'm sure that wasn't the only fucking copy of the contract. I'd sure would hope that his agent or his, lawyer or accountant or something has an extra copy. But it's just a great scene because, it just pisses on the contract. That's awesome.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
They all walk into the locker room and then they're afraid that they might see a red card in their locker because a red card means you're cut. But Tom Berenger's character Jake says, hey, don't worry, they don't cut nobody on the first day. That's a great impression by me, by the way. Next, we're introduced to Discount Billy Bob Thornton over here, and his character's just wild, man. He's a pitcher who's past his prime, and he uses a bunch of Vaseline, Vagisil, I don't know what snot. He puts jalapeno in his nose, so he uses snot on baseballs so he can get more rotation or spin rotation. Bro, this dude was thinking Trevor Bauer levels of thought before Trevor Bauer, back in the 80s, back before Moneyball, baby.
Rub a little jalapeno inside my nose, get it running, and if I need to load the ball up a little, just wipe my nose.
Well, he's also a Christian, and Jose Serrano, one of the other main characters, he practices voodoo, and they don't get along. More on that later.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
I'm not going to suffer you with all the details of spring training. It's just a montage of them sucking, but still making it to the end of spring training and somehow making the team. Except Charlie Sheen's character, Rick Vaughn, when he opens up his locker and he finds a red card. So he storms into the manager's office and, basically tells him to suck his fat chode. And the manager says, hey, I like that fire, but I didn't cut you. I think somebody might be playing a trick on you. And then, then him and Roger go at it because I guess it was Roger who did it. They don't even he doesn't even have any evidence. He just goes out and it just attacks the first man that he sees. I guess this is why this man was in prison. But Jake just tells him not to sweat it because, hey, you made the ball club. Be proud of that. Be happy about it, I guess. Whatever. I don't fucking care.
I'm gonna stick it up your fucking ass!
Hey, look, it's the janitor from Scrubs.
Who are these fucking guys?
So all the main characters make the ball club, and Jake decides to take Wesley Snipes and Charlie Sheen's character out to dinner at this very high-end restaurant where they both clearly don't belong there, but at least Wesley Snipes looks the part. Charlie Sheen's character looks, I don't know what kind of look he's going for. Maybe edgy. I guess in the 80s, not having sleeves was edgy, and I guess that's half his personality is he doesn't wear sleeves. But they made him wear a tie. How could you just wear a tie and they'd be like, all right, well, at least he's wearing a tie. No, dude, you don't look like you should be there at all. And now we're introduced to the love interest in the film, Jake's ex-wife. Well, Jake sees his ex-wife on a date with another man, and he thinks, this is a good idea to go up and talk to her. He uses the bar phone to pretend there's a phone call for his ex-wife so he can go over and have a one-on-one conversation with her. She clearly wants no part of this interaction, especially when she's out on a date and she doesn't want to see her date with this man who's talking to her. Granted, good-looking man, all right? Tom Berenger is a good-looking man.
Well, pause.
But no excuse for how he's acting. Now, for some of the younger audience that may be listening to this, people used to have a phone book and you used to be listed there with your home phone number. Well, Tom can't find his ex-wife in there, so then he pressures her into giving up the phone number.
I'm not leaving till you give me your number.
You gotta be kidding me!
And she finally gives in and gives the fakest phone number of all time, and Tom just buys it. It starts off with 555. How do you not know this? I get it's the 80s, but come on, Tom. You gotta know this, right? Right? And now it's opening day. Everyone's sitting around the locker room, a little nervous. Harris wants to pray. Serrano needs to awaken Joe Boo. The sprinklers go off. There's a lot happening right now. Now we're introduced to the best character in the whole damn movie, Bob Uecker. He's the play-by-play guy for the Cleveland Indians. He delivers one of the best lines in the whole movie.
Just a bit outside.
He's hilarious. He kind of has this, like, I don't give a fuck type of attitude. I mean, he makes the movie. So the game starts, and for the first inning and a half, things are looking pretty good. We even get this nice little bit of foreshadowing.
A lot of people say you can tell how the season's going to go by the first hitter of the year. Oops. Hey, here's a hot shot toward the hole. Rudy knocks it down, fires to first. Late Hayes beat it.
Then the whole damn thing unravels. Their weaknesses show up and they're exposed, and the Yankees just beat the brakes off of them. Why is it that in every sports movie for kids, the Yankees are like the good guys, but in every sports movie for adults, the Yankees are the evil empire? I don't know why, I just think it's funny. I hate the Yankees. So after the game, Jake calls that fake ass number, and wouldn't you guess it, it turns out to be fake.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Then Jake comes storming into his ex-wife's workplace looking all like Jerry Seinfeld ass motherfucker. What's the deal with airline peanuts ass motherfucking white ass shoes with the jeans and the button-up shirt tucked into the jeans with the belt exposed. I don't know why this was a style and why it was so popular back then, but every white person was rocking this. I mean, even look in the background. There's a white person rocking it right there. Also, huge red flag. Why are you going to your ex-wife's workplace? So he then proceeds to confront her about the fake number and then be like, I don't know why we ever stopped dating. And then she lays it out because you never cared about my interest and you cheated on me. I mean, basically like very blatant and obvious stuff, Jake. Like, this is clearly your fault why it stopped working. It was your fault, not at all on her. But Toxic King gonna be toxic, you know what I'm saying? And then he proceeds to go and get her to talk about her body and everything like that.
She bet me $50 she had a better body than you, and I had to defend your honor.
What a bunch of bullshit. I have a much better body than she does.
Like, very inappropriate shit. You are at her workplace, my guy. Somebody should have called the cops. Especially the guy in the background that's working with her. I mean, he should have noticed that shit. It would have been like, hey, my dude, you gotta leave, or else I'm gonna call the cops or something like that. This is very inappropriate.
I'm not leaving till you give me your...
So the main antagonist lady decides that the team's doing too good and she feels like she's coddling the team too much. So then, for their next road trip, she puts them in this abomination. Also, Harris is reading a Hustler on the plane, and I just think that to be fucking hilarious.
He's not fooling her.
So wouldn't you know it, the piece of shit plane breaks down and we see Jake reading the comic version of Moby Dick. I guess this is his way of showing his ex-wife that he does have interest in her interest. Well, reading a fucking book, well, not a book, a comic book of a very famous book.
This happens to be a masterpiece of American literature.
Wesley Snipes' character, which, by the way, his name's Hayes, Willie Mays Hayes, runs like Hayes, hits like Mays, or whatever it was.
Play like Mays, and I run like Hayes.
Anyways, I just didn't want to call him Wesley Snipes all the time. Anyways, Hayes uses his intuition and realizes Jake's not reading this book because he likes to read this book, but it's over probably some girl. Jake confides into Hayes that it is over his ex-wife, and then Hayes gives him the worst advice imaginable.
Tail her home from the library.
What do you mean, sit in the car and wait for her to come out? That's kind of juvenile, don't you think?
No, Jake, it's not juvenile. It's dangerous. It's predatory. Leave this poor woman alone, Jake. Well, this fucking guy takes Hayes' advice and follows her back to her apartment. He goes into the complex and sees which floor she gets off on, and then he finally turns away. Thank God, Jake, you came to your senses. Goes to a diner, has a beer, and no, Jake, dear God, turn away. Turn away. Oh God, he got the liquid courage in him. He gets off the elevator and then goes straight into the room. Like, there's no hallway or anything like that. So it's one of those apartments where the elevator is the door. So why wasn't there security or a code or a key or anything like that? He was just able to walk right in, right off the street, and go into somebody's apartment? That's a little terrifying. Worst yet, it's not even her apartment. It's her fiance's apartment. And did I not mention that earlier? Yeah, he's not just chasing after his ex-wife who's, seeing other people. He's chasing after his ex-wife who's engaged.
Tom and I are getting married in the fall.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
So then the fiance comes over and you think he's gonna go over there and be like, hey, get the fuck out of my apartment. What the fuck are you doing here?
What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
But instead, he invites him over to, I guess, embarrass him in front of everybody. Be like, look at this jabroni. He's just a Major League Baseball player. He's a starting Major League Baseball player, too. Yeah, that's a good fucking plan. The fiance asks Jake if he wants anything. Jake says he'll have a beer. Like, no, Jake, you don't need a beer. Bad idea. That was the problem. That's what got you in this mess in the first place.
Now you fucked up! Now you fucked up! You have fucked up now!
So things get weird because everybody can tell that there's still tension between Jake and his ex-wife. So then the fiance escorts Jake out and he's like, hey, leave my fiance alone. Jake tells him to suck his dick, and like, I'm surprised that the fiance didn't just clock him right there. Like, if you tell me to suck my dick when I tell you to leave my fiance alone, like, expect a sucker punch is coming. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Suck my dick.
Back to baseball, we find out that Rick Vaughn, Charlie Sheen's character, just needed glasses, and now all of a sudden he's an elite pitcher. It wasn't a consistency issue, a delivery issue, a mechanical issue. No, just glasses, that's all. After the game, Jake goes over to Roger Dorn's place to confront him about not taking the game very seriously and about tanking some plays and how this is his last year, so he better start taking him seriously. And this is what he said.
I'm gonna cut your nuts off and stuff them down your fucking throat.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
God damn, Jake, you got some fucking problems, don't you? He's still got to be reeling about his ex-wife and the fiance and everything like that. So then Charlie Sheen's character gets some booty, and it's just not a Charlie Sheen movie if he doesn't get booty in it, right?
Wild thing, you make my heart sing.
I got some booty. I got some booty. I got some booty.
Well, then the villain owner comes down to the clubhouse, commits some sexual harassment, and then tells them that she's not gonna fix anything for the clubhouse, like hot water. Like, there's no fucking hot water in this major league clubhouse. They win their next game despite all of the efforts made by the owner to prevent them from playing well, and in the stands was Jake's ex-wife. Jake sees his ex-wife, and before he could even take off his catching equipment, chases her out of the stadium.
Oh, shit!
Like, my guy, do you think if she wanted to talk to you, she would have at least waited until you took off your fucking shin guards? He continues this chase, and yes, I said chase, by driving a vehicle that the stadium must use while driving along the warning track to shoot t-shirts out of a t-shirt cannon. Anyways, he uses that vehicle, follow her, and drive through residential areas back to her apartment, and at least he goes to her real apartment this time. Then he walks in, full uniform, into his ex-wife's apartment. And I guess she doesn't lock the doors? Even though her ex-husband is literally stalking her, she's not gonna lock her doors. I think at this point, it's on her.
Whose place are we at this time?
Mine.
That's my purse!
Did you follow me again?
I don't know you!
They get into another discussion about how Jake still loves her and about how he's a changed man, and then she's all like, I don't know if I can take you back after all these chances. And I gotta be thinking here, Jake's gotta have a 5-star dick, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gotta be slanging that schmeat for her to still want to come back after all these years, after all the times he did her so dirty, and she's still thinking about leaving her fiance to get back together with this man. Anyways, they end up hooking up and we can get back to baseball, right? Well, kind of. Charlie, the GM for the Indians, which I don't think I've talked about him at all, but he's working alongside the lady who wants to move the team, but he wants to just build a winning ball club and stay in Cleveland. Anyways, he goes and he speaks to Lou in private in his office and goes and tells Lou all of the plans that the lady has to move the team down to Miami and how she's tanking the season. So then Lou addresses it with the team and basically tells them that they're not supposed to win. They weren't ever supposed to win. And if they do win, they're just going to get released or traded, and they won't be on the ball club until she gets her way. So then Jake delivers one of the best lines in the movie, and my favorite line of the movie.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that?
Win the whole fucking thing.
I love that line. But Jake, seriously, we gotta talk about your outfit. It looks like you purchased every item out of the Jerry Seinfeld Sears Spring catalog.
And this offends you as a Jewish person?
No, it offends me as a comedian.
You are a Major League Baseball player, and it looks like you shop at JCPenney's.
Suck my dick.
Every time we win, we peel a section.
No, I don't think you can do that. I definitely don't think you can undress your boss at the workplace. I don't think that's appropriate. I think that is a lawsuit waiting to happen. And was the speech not good enough? Was just win the whole fucking thing not good enough? You gotta motivate him with boobies, but boobies of a lady that you don't even like, and furthermore, owns the fucking team. Well, that lawsuit waiting to happen must have worked, because all of a sudden the team turns it around. They're playing well. They're happy. The city's happy. Charlie's happy. They're all in an American Express commercial. Life is good. Until we have a little bit more of a drama.
You ever get the feeling something really bad is about to
What is up, Drama Alert Nation? I'm your host. Because Roger Dorn gets caught cheating on his wife on TV. Like a jabroni. I swear to God, these dudes who were cheating on their wives back in the 80s could not have lasted 2 seconds in today's world with iPhones. They would not have survived. Because how do you not fucking notice a huge ass camera and a reporter with a microphone in his hand, and he even turns back just to be like, oh, was that Roger? No, that was definitely Roger. That was definitely Roger. What a dumbass. Luke pulls in Rick Vaughn while they're on the bus and tells him that he wants Harris to start over Vaughn against the Yankees because he's got a better record. You remember Harris, spitball Harris, porn addict, loves Jesus. Good dude. The team gets back into Cleveland, and where do you think Jake went? Well, if you guessed his ex-wife's apartment, even though she's already engaged, but they did just smash recently, you are correct. He gets into the apartment and everything's gone. And he's very, surprised and depressed about it. But, what are you expecting? She said she was moving in with her fiance, the man she was going to get married to. Last time you were over to smash shit was in boxes. What do you think was going to happen? Also, how the fuck did you get in? Did nobody lock this? Does anybody lock doors in the 80s? What is up with the fucking 80s? Continuing with the Rick Vaughn and Roger Dorn drama, this gets a little spicy as Roger's wife meets up with Vaughn at the bar. Vaughn, not knowing it's Roger's wife, takes her back to his place. They end up banging, and right before she leaves, she tells him that she's Roger's wife. And now he feels like a bad teammate, and he knows he fucked up. And I guess Jake is living with Rick Vaughn. That's never established in the movie, but Jake sees Roger's wife walk out and says hello to her, and they exchange pleasantries. And when the fuck did they move in together? Anyways, she goes back home. She tells Roger. We get to the stadium. Everything's tense. The atmosphere is electric in Cleveland right now. Let's get into the action. The game gets underway, and through 6 frames, it's a real pitcher's duel. Nothing. We've got some great defensive plays. Hayes steals a home run. Roger Dorn is diving for balls. And this guy just found out his wife cheated on him. And the mental fortitude to just block that out. I mean, I guess he's been cheating on her for a while too. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. He was like, shit, whatever. I mean, hell, I got caught, Maybe he was cool about it. I don't know. Probably not. But into the 7th is when it starts to get a little dicey for the Indians. Harris gives up a hit and a 2-run blast, and the vibes change in the stadium. And the music changes too. So that's how you know the vibes changed in the stadium and things aren't going the Indians' way.
These guys don't look too fucking good.
But then, guess who comes up to save the day? Our boy Roger Dorn comes in and gets a single. This dude is playing out of his mind, dude. The whole movie, I'm like, this dude sucks. And then this last little bit, I'm starting to root for him. I mean, he's starting to become one of my favorite players. Pedro steps up, and he has not been seeing the ball well at all today. He has not made contact at all today, and he starts off 0-2. He turns around, collects himself, talks to Joe Boo, tells Joe Boo basically to go fuck himself, and he hits a 2-run dinger, ties it up. All of a sudden, there's life in Cleveland. We get to the top of the 9th, and Harris loads the bases. Lou brings in Rick Vaughn and we hear his iconic song. During Rick's warm-up pitches, Dorn comes over, and we're all expecting some confrontation, right? We're all expecting Dorn to blow his lid, but he just simply says one thing.
Strike this motherfucker out.
I gotta say, I really respect the fuck out of Roger to put everything in the past and to just, put team first. At the start of the season, start of the movie, it didn't look like that, but this dude's a competitor. We should all respect or try to be a little bit more like Roger Dorn. Cheat on your wife cheats on you, and you don't get upset about it. You realize, hey, you know what? That was on me. Rick proceeds to throw 3 straight heaters, 3 straight swing and misses, and we're on to the next. And I gotta say, this guy's supposed to be the Triple Crown winner, but he's swinging at terrible pitches. Like up and in, near his fucking chin. Like, how the hell did you hit for 340, but you're swinging at pitches like that? I don't know. Anyways, I know it's a movie. We're driving on this storyline. Let's get to the bottom of the 9th. Hayes ends up hitting a chopper down the middle of the infield, and he beats out the throw.
That's called foreshadowing. That's called foreshadowing. That's called foreshadowing. That's called foreshadowing.
Jake steps up. Hayes steals second. We've got a ball game here. Jake seems to have a good idea of what to do with Hayes on second. He relays it to Lou. Lou relays all the information back. We're doing the stereotypical baseball signs. He points to the outfield. He's calling his shot just like Babe Ruth. And he gets a little pitch up and in. And this is the 80s, mind you, when the unwritten rules actually applied. Nowadays, you're kind of a dick if you throw up and in on somebody doing that. But back in the 80s, that was some serious shit. Taylor gets right back up and he points to the outfield again. He calls his shot again. The ball's on this man. But then he just delivers a swinging bunt, and then it gets all slow motion, and Hayes runs from second all the way home. Jake beats out the throw to first. Cleveland wins. Everybody's happy. Hurrah, hurrah. Well, everyone except for the lady that wanted to move the team and realizes she has to stay in Cleveland. Yes, you do have to stay in Cleveland, or you could sell the fucking team and move to Miami. I mean, that's personally what I would probably do. Well, not me personally, because I would love the idea of owning a baseball team. But for you who doesn't want to own a baseball team, just sell the team and move down to Boca Raton. I mean, it's as simple as that. Also, wouldn't you know it, Jake's ex-wife, she's in the stadium. He ends up being with her. What a terrible love story. She should have just ended up getting married with the guy who actually fucking loved her and didn't spend all that time in the past cheating on her. But hey, it's a sports movie. Everyone's happy. Cleveland wins. And guys, that was Major League. Let me know if you liked it, if you're interested in watching it. If you've already watched it, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you thought of it. Me personally, if I was going to rate it from a don't watch it, watch it, or rewatch it, I would definitely give it a watch it. Me personally, I have some nostalgia for it, so I might do a rewatch. Obviously, I did just rewatch it, but I might rewatch it again. I would give it a watch, but it definitely doesn't age well in some parts. But hey, that's all for me, guys. Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know the whole deal. And with all that being said, peace.